Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
What is up, Lock Shoppers? Welcome to The Lock Shop right here at Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. Thank you to everyone for listening across the Edmonton Sports Talk audio streams, edmontonsportstalk.com, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. Thank you to those watching on YouTube as well as those listening on podcast, wherever you get a podcast. We greatly appreciate it as well. Matawanek in for Dustin Nielson on this Friday. He's out in Hamilton getting set for Ticats and Owls tomorrow in the first of the two CFL playoff games. It's the East final between the Owls and the Ticats, and the West final is the Lions and the Rough Riders. Lions news. James Butler listed as a game-time decision tomorrow. That's a huge loss if he's not ready to go for the BC Lions tomorrow in what will be a colder game, which at times when it's a colder game, you kind of need that ball on the ground. And if they're out without James Butler, a bit of a loss for the BC Lions. We'll have to see his status. Lots to get to on the show today. Haas will join us momentarily. Obviously, it's Week 10 in the National Football League. Start off with what was a stellar game yesterday. If you watched that Thursday night football game, you were walking away going, that was an all-timer. I want to watch that one again. I hope every game this weekend is as good as the game that we just saw. That's the way you kick off Week 10 in the National Football League. That's football. That's football that we all know and love. Unbelievable football game between those Broncos and Raiders, setting up what should be a great weekend. So we'll get some National Football League. 4 games in the NHL tonight. The Oilers, they're back in action tomorrow as the host, the Colorado Avalanche. The Jets, though, Winnipeg Jets tonight are in San Jose to take on the Sharks. So very fair bit to get to on the show today. With that, let's bring him on the show. Hustler from Winnipeg Sports Talk. Huss, how we doing today? What a great way to start Week 10 in the National Football League.
You know, Matty, that was a special night. It was a throwback night of Thursday night football. Thursday night games this year have actually been awesome.
It's a great point.
For those of us that were yearning for the good old days of the AFC South Super Bowl in the color rush jerseys, Jags, Texans, that's what that was last night. An abomination of the game of football that potentially set the NFL back decades. The Denver Broncos are 8-2 right now. People are thinking, if you're not watching the game, you're like, hey, this team's good. They got a really good defense. I mean, you watch that game and you're just thinking, how? How in the world have they done it? But then you dig a little deeper into how the Broncos have arrived here at 8-2 at this point in the season. Here's some of their wins. A one-score win over the Tennessee Titans, who are 1-8 with Cam Ward. A win over the Jake Browning-led Bengals. They did beat the Eagles, which was kind of a crazy one, and then followed that up by holding the New York Jets to -10 passing offense.
Yeah.
And winning by 2 points.
Yep.
Of course, a 1-point win over the Jackson Dart-led Giants. They took out Davis Mills and the Texans, and now Geno Smith and the Raiders. Like, there are some aspects of this Denver team that is good. There's no doubt about it. But can we really put them up with the other top teams in the NFL right now?
No.
After last night, I think the answer is an emphatic no in all caps.
And it's all because of the offense. If they had just an okay offense, then I would be more comfortable to put them in that conversation because of just how good that defense can be. But also, I guess one thing with that defense, maybe they're also looking just good because of somewhat that opponents. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I was just looking at the Broncos' schedule. We're going to know who they are in the second half of the season. They get Chiefs next weekend. They'll get the Chiefs later on Christmas Day. They do get the Packers in mid-December. And then we'll see what the schedule's like. But the last game of the season, they do get the Chargers. So we're going to learn, I think, a lot more about whether this Broncos team is more legit or not now moving forward. Like next Sunday is the big test. And they get the mini bye here because they get these 3 days off in advance of that Chiefs game next weekend. We're going to learn a lot more from them. But there was a reason why yesterday on the show I said I do like the Raiders to cover that 9.5, and it's because those Broncos, they find a way to get it done. Give them credit for that. They're taking advantage of the schedule that they have. You can't, you only can play the schedules that they give you.
Yeah.
So credit to them for not blowing this and having that 8-2 record, pretty much putting themselves right on that knocking into the playoffs and getting closer to being able to put that extra 10 wins. You feel like you should be a playoff team. So they only need to find 2 more wins the rest of the way. But just not a team that I'm sold on. Not a team that I'm sold on, against the Chiefs right now. We'll see again next weekend. If they have to go up against the Bills, I'm not sold on them for that one. If my Ravens find a way to sneak into the playoffs, I'm not sold on them beating the Ravens right now. And I'm not sold that I would say the Chargers are a better team right now. I would take the Chargers right now against the Broncos team a little bit.
This will be reflected in some picks coming up. The Chargers, I think we have to stick a fork in them. Now, Joe Alt is now out for the season. When he was in, they were in and around the 6th ranked offense. When he's out, I think it's like 24th or 25th. They've already lost Rashawn Slater. I mean, I think Justin Herbert is going to be just running for his life. It's a good thing he's got Madison Beer to come home to because this guy is going to be having some tough days at the office. But yeah, the AFC West is really interesting. I mean, listen, Denver's record, you are what your record is. They've got a great record. We're going to see what they're made of next week in Denver with the Chiefs coming off the bye. We know what Andy Reid's record is coming off the bye. This is essentially going to feel like a playoff game for Kansas City at 5-4 right now. But if they can get that win and get to 6-4, hand the Broncos that second loss, the path to winning the AFC West will be in their control, but they're going to have to go on the road and beat Denver. And here's the thing. I fully expect Denver to be a hell of a lot better against Kansas City than they were last night. It kind of felt maybe last night that they were already looking ahead to that game, just knowing how bad the Raiders had looked recently. And certainly we saw what happened to the Raiders when they went to Kansas City 2 weeks ago. 31-0, essentially in victory formation in the third quarter of that game. So, I mean, quite the start to week 10, Maddie. I mean, listen, credit to anyone that watched that thing through. Luckily, there was a lot of hockey games on right now, and I kind of focused on that a little bit more. But we're off to the races in week 10 right now, and some pretty good games on the docket this week. I'm quite interested, and I don't think I'm going to be making a pick on this game because I don't really have a feel for it. But the start of the year, if you told me New England at Tampa in week 10 would be a feature matchup, I would have been surprised. But speaking of teams that are 7-2, the New England Patriots can keep pace with the Broncos right now and stay on top of the AFC East with a win. And Baker and Tampa have been finding ways to win all year with so many of their top players out. It looks like Bucky Irving's not coming back this week again. But I'm quite intrigued. And the fact that that's a 2.5 is interesting because it was originally 3. So it does seem like there's a little bit of steam on people buying what the New England Patriots are selling coming into the week. Yeah,
PA still has it at 3. So those lines are moving around. I will say,
what's the number? If you get 3, is it like juice to one side?
No, almost a pick 'em. Pats at +3 is -111. Bucks -3 is -105. So,
okay.
So
that's
really
a nice
close
number, especially if you like New England. I think a lot of places we've seen it kind of get to those numbers, but basically at 2.5. So
I don't want to take away from their win against the Bills because it was a very good win. But beyond that, you look at the Patriots' schedule. Not a lot of other good wins in this one. Like who they've beaten as well: Dolphins, Panthers, Saints, Titans, Browns, Falcons. This is, to me, are the Pats for real to a degree? Like, are the New England Patriots truly a team that I'm not saying Super Bowl contender. I'm not going to sit here and say going to the Super Bowl or anything like that. But is this a team that is really a playoff team and can maybe go win a playoff game? Or are they of that level for Drake May if he's looking to add to an argument for him being the MVP this season in the National Football League? This would be a big win because you're taking on one of the better teams over in the NFC. They're 6-2. This would be a nice signature win to add alongside the Buffalo Bills that they have. But there's just so many other games there that I'm not sold on the wins. Like even last week, the Falcons just aren't anything real special this year, even though they themselves went and beat the Bills. Beat them by 1. A very tight ball game there. I think this is a nice for Mike Vrabel, for Drake May, for that Patriots team to finally go. No, we are back. We as the New England Patriots are back. We're back on the scene. Or are they still just in that? Okay, I could see that maybe next year, or the year after, they're going to get there, and we're seeing those signs, but they're not there just yet. That's what this game says to me. But a lot of respect given to them with that number at 3.
You know what the Patriots sort of remind me of, to make an NHL analogy? The Patriots are the Ducks, a team with some good young talent that got the addition of an amazing head coach. Their key player, Drake May, take a big step forward this year into star category and has them in first place. Much like the Ducks have Coach Q that's come back. Leo Carlson is the Drake May in this analogy and has turned into a superstar. And they find themselves surprisingly at their top of the division right now. How's that for an analogy from the NFL to the NFL?
Yeah, I think that's a great one. And if they find the way to win this week too, they have some tough games at there's a stretch there where they get Bills, Ravens back to back. That might be a tough little stretch there. But they go Bucks this week. They get Jets, Bengals, Giants, and then to the end of the season, Jets and Dolphins. If they beat the Bucks and run the table on those other games, outside of Bills, Ravens,
13-4.
They're putting them. Yeah, they might take the division at that point. Because the Bills. They've got
the Bills are playing that first place schedule, and we're seeing that's big right now. I mean, the Kansas City, Philly. I mean, these teams that won their divisions last year are playing just meat grinder schedules, and depending on, if you're in like the AFC East with the matchups that you're getting, you're playing a 3rd or 4th place schedule. I mean, you're getting some absolute cream puffs.
Yeah, the Bills will still have the Bucks themselves. They get the Dolphins this week. They get the Texans, whatever, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Browns, Eagles. So there's a couple of games there where we'll see how it plays out for the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, if New England Patriots go take advantage of the schedule that they have, if they get this win against the Bucks, and it makes that game on December 14th between the Bills and the Patriots so important. And who would have thought that at the beginning of the season? That there might be a game between the Bills and Patriots in December that's going to be the deciding the AFC East.
Hey, do you have NFL futures up there on PA right now?
Yes.
Let's do a quick little rundown before we get into weekly picks.
Which one you want to start with?
Well, first of all, what are the Super Bowl odds?
Yeah, okay. KC are the favorites. Plus 575.
Even after last week,
slightly ahead of the Bills, who are plus 600. Rams are 3rd at 800. Eagles are plus 805. Then it goes Lions, Packers, Colts, Seahawks, Ravens are right there still. Broncos,
What's
Bucks,
the Ravens
Pats.
number?
The Ravens are basically 17-1.
The funny thing is if the Ravens get in, which they very much can, I think they are still favored right now to win the AFC North. If they get in, they'll have been playing at a really high level for the entire second half of the season. And unlike other years where it's sort of like they've been at the top and just waiting for the playoffs to happen, I think this is going to baby harden them. Like, I'll be very, very nervous about a Baltimore team if they're able to make it in, because we know that like on any given Sunday against any team, the Baltimore Ravens can win.
Yeah.
And there's not a single team in this National Football League that they're not capable of beating if they execute for a full 60 minutes. the biggest thing is, I mean, their health. They got so decimated coming out of that Kansas City game. It almost sunk their season. They got to win. Now they're back at it. And as I say, I mean, I think Baltimore is going to be an absolute problem for the rest of the league, especially if they're able to make it in.
It comes down to their defense. Even when healthy so far this season, they haven't been particularly good. People thought that this was going to be a top defense coming in this season, and they haven't come close to living up to that level. A lot of pressure on Zachary Orr, to their defensive coordinator. They did just go I forgot which player they just brought in from the Titans, but they brought in an edge from the Titans close to that deadline. So hopefully that will help them bolster with some of their injuries there. The big factor for them is they go Vikings this week, Browns, Jets. They need to go sweep those three. Then it's this Bengals, Steelers run there. And that's a key one. You got to go beat the Steelers because you don't want to be saving needing to beat the Steelers at the end of the season. You then got to at least split those Bengals. Then I'd really like their chances. But they're in a position right now where you're right. They get to January, they're going to be scary. There's a reason they were the Super Bowl favorites to some places going into the season, but there's a reason them Bills and Chiefs are always talked about as the head of the AFC. Yeah. But they don't have any room for error anymore. Like they used all that capital at the start of the season with their 1-5 start, and especially blowing that game to the Buffalo Bills with the lead that they had in that one. But it's there. It's there if they want to go be a team that it ends with Patriots, Packers, Steelers. So not an easy end to that schedule. But if they go pick up the wins that they have going into that, yeah, they would be a team to be fearful. When it comes to the MVP odds, Josh Allen is the leader at plus 155. Drake May is number 2. Tied with Patrick Mahomes at plus 390. Matthew Stafford's plus 525. And then there's a little bit of a drop, but basically 14-1 is Sam Darnold. Almost 19-1 is Baker Mayfield. And then it goes Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Lamar Jackson. So Allen is the favorite, but Drake May's right there. Drake May's right there. And I do wonder if the Patriots do win the division this year ahead of the Buffalo Bills, is that going to be enough to get Drake May that MVP title?
Well, I think it's going to get it over Josh. I mean, if it's coming down to him and Josh, then yeah. Because that'll basically mean that they held on. The key game of the year was New England going in and beating Buffalo in Buffalo. And we'll have that. Just on that list, the two guys that I think, if you're looking to kind of play down the board of a player or two that has an opportunity potentially to be the MVP, like Darnold at 14-1 is, listen, he's got JSN, who's the leading receiver. They've just added Rashid Shaheed, which I think is just going to rip the top off some of these defenses. If the safeties are not paying close attention to Shaheed, he is just going to be going on the go route, and Sammy throws a nice deep ball. That'll be good. That's going to be huge for JSN. And as I say, they can get to 7-2 with the win this week. Like if they were to win the NFC West, which is very much on the table right now, and come through with a 13-4 record or something like that, Darnold will be there. And then Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, should be a much shorter number. He has been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're winning these games. They haven't had Godwin. They haven't had Evans. They haven't had Bucky Irving. A whole bunch of guys we've never heard of outside of Emeka Mbuka, the rookie, have been, they've been beating good teams. Frankly, that head-to-head matchup between Baker and Darnold in Seattle a few weeks ago, the 38-35 game, was one of the best games of the year. So I do think that those guys, if those teams continue to win, we're not going to be seeing numbers like 14 or 19 or 20 or whatever it was on Baker a little later on. But it does seem like it's kind of focused on those top 4 quarterbacks. I think Darnold and Baker should be more in the mix.
I'll throw another player out there. It's not going to be easy. I'm just wondering if you see if there's any path to this, because he's the leader of Offensive Player of the Year for favorite. He's minus 141 to win the Offensive Player of the Year, which it always makes me laugh. MVP, Offensive Player, really the MVP largely, it's just who's the best quarterback this season. And then we focus on everyone else. Jonathan Taylor at 36-1. Is there any path for a Jonathan Taylor to go snake and steal that MVP award this year? Is there any way, or the fact that even a Saquon couldn't get it last year when he put up the numbers that he put up? that it doesn't matter.
It's highly unlikely, and that's part of the reason why they've got the Offensive Player of the Year award. He's the favorite for that right now. It's basically your leaders in the two, Taylor and JSN. Although I was looking, he's actually not the favorite to lead the league in rushing yards. That's James Cook right now. And Cook, listen, he's been phenomenal this year. But I think if you're looking for a JT prop, it's more likely the Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, just looking at the MVP, the first 10 guys on the board are quarterbacks.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. Like,
basically a quarterback award. Like, you can make an argument for sure. I just don't think it's going to happen.
And that's where I just go to the definition. Like, I understand these other quarterbacks are very valuable to their team, but Jonathan Taylor's very, very valuable to what the Colts season has been.
Is he even their MVP?
I would put him as their MVP.
What about Danny Dimes?
I know, but I don't think Dimes gets away with what he's doing if it's not for Jonathan Taylor.
See, I don't know. I mean, Jonathan Taylor was there last year, and they sucked with a pretty good O-line. I mean, Danny Dimes, I know he doesn't get the respect he deserves. Where's he in the MVP?
He's with Jonathan Taylor at 36-1.
36. I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
there's
Danny
1, 2,
Dimes
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 quarterbacks, and then Taylor Jones together at 36-1.
Taylor and Jones. The funny thing is, Taylor's been so good, it hurts Jones's candidacy. But I don't know. Let me just quickly ask you, are you buying or selling the Colts right now? Like,
I'm selling the Colts.
They had an ugly loss last week. Then they go at the deadline and get really aggressive. Add Sauce Gardner, which is certainly going to be big for, when you get to the playoffs and you're playing against those big boy teams. Like, I'm almost going to give them a pass on that game last week, and we'll still think of them as a real legitimate contender if they can, continue to win games. But the one thing that came out of last week's game is that the Pittsburgh defense decided to show up for the first time this season. I mean, their defense had absolutely been atrocious, and they terrorized Danny Dimes last week in that game. So that Colts-Falcons game actually is over in Frankfurt this weekend, the early game right now. So they're just short of a touchdown favorite in that one, and that's without any home field advantage, if you will. And the Falcons are such a schizo team. I mean, they look great at one point, then they look terrible. They looked really bad the last couple of weeks. It actually wouldn't surprise me if this game ended up being a real tight one. I stayed away from the Colts when making the picks.
Yeah, I'm more on the little more frauds than for real. I look at just who they've beaten. Nothing to like. They beat the Chargers. They did beat the Broncos, but I'm also questioning the Broncos to a degree. So it takes away that win for me a little bit, and it was a 1-point game. Wild ending, if I recall correctly, in week 2.
The Broncos should have won that game.
Yeah, so it's one of those. Like, they're going to be a playoff team when you look at the rest of their schedule. Falcons this weekend, Chiefs, Texans, Jags, Seahawks, 49ers, Jags, Texans. There's wins there for them to take their 7-2 record and get into the playoffs. There's no question. The Colts will be in the playoff team this year. I'm sure of that. But I think it's probably more likely than not for me that whoever, that first meeting is in the playoffs, that I could see the Colts just not being in the ball game enough when they have to go take on, whether it be the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs or a top team like that. I'm fading still on the Colts. I'm not sold on them just yet. And maybe it's just partly like Daniel Jones. I'm thinking too much of Daniel Jones from Giants days type thing that I'm just not yet ready to buy in on the Colts, but I am absolutely, not with them as of yet. Dusty didn't send me picks, so I just
texted him to see if he was going to jump on or if he was going to send something over. But I certainly have some, and
he says he's going to send them to me right away. He just finished with the Ticats, so I think they're doing sit down. So I don't think he's going to be joining us. But once he gets those, I will throw those out there. But for your guys' picks this weekend, where are you starting off in your 5 picks?
Well, I'll tell you what the heck is going on with this? I've got my app, and the Chicklets guys don't want to shut up. All right, we're good. Sorry about that. I'm going to start. You know what? We were just talking about the Colts. And as I say, I'm not here to say that this Colts team is fraudulent. I think they're actually really good. And that is why the Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the most maddening teams in the league. They've actually had some great offensive games earlier this year that have really been lost because their defense didn't show up. And the Pittsburgh defense, led by TJ Watt, has sort of been the backbone of a team that has always been competitive, even over the last few years when they've been throwing out the Mason Rudolphs of the league to play quarterback for them. Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is actually still playing pretty well. Like, is he the Rodgers of 5 years ago when he was winning MVPs? No. But he's definitely competent. And the return of the Pittsburgh defense, though, was something that, I took note of. That was the key of the reason why they won that game against Indy last week. They've got the Sunday nighter against the Chargers in LA. Is it 3 or 2.5 there for you?
-3 for the Chargers.
-3. All right, perfect. Well, count me in on Pittsburgh +3 in this game. I cannot overstate how important Joe Alt is to that team, and he's now out for the season. They're basically playing a bunch of backups, and they're down to replacement guys on both of their tackle positions. Herbert's a hell of a player, but you can only do so much on your own. Even the running game, Marion Hampton's not going to be back until week 12. So, I mean, you're basically looking at an offense at the most important positions, and I won't even include running back, that they are just playing from such a deficit that it's going to be long, long afternoons. And I mean, I know a lot of Charger people that, are very, optimistic. Normally they say, listen, we just can't win right now because of where they're at. So I think Pittsburgh wins this game outright. So I'm taking the 3. And the other thing is, Maddie, as we've seen before, this is going to be like a home game for the Steelers.
I was going to jump in and say that. We've seen this time and time again. There'll be a lot of black and yellow in LA.
There. They travel as well as any fan base in the National Football League. And
the Chargers have a fan base that doesn't show up. It's that perfect mix.
There's 2 places in the league, and ironically, they're both in the AFC West, where visiting teams can go and play essential home games. It's the Chargers and it's the Raiders in Vegas. The Raiders never were that way when they were back, like when they were in Oakland.
Yeah.
Now that they're in Vegas, it's a tourist spot. It's like, oh, let's go watch our team in Vegas. The Raiders suck. So, I mean, it's not like the Raiders are not letting other people get their tickets. Like, I went to that Chiefs game last year. I mean, it was basically what we were talking about. We're expecting the Steelers. I mean, it was a massive crowd. It was all red. I've never seen anything like it in person. That's going to continue to happen. So
Rams too, though, also have their struggles. Coincidentally, same stadium and city as the Chargers.
No, exactly. LA fans. I mean,
Trojans and Bruins fans. That's who they are
right now. Yeah, I guess. But anyways, I love Pittsburgh right off the bat. I'm taking them at +3.
As a Ravens fan, I hope you're wrong. No offense. All right. Well, I guess I don't hope you're like. I hope the Chargers just win this, but in that margin of the +3, then you're right. And my team wins because I'm mad at the Colts for not getting that win last weekend. It would have been really nice for the Ravens to have gotten that win. I'm focused on the AFC North, but everything you say, I can't argue with. But it's that home crowd that does change. It's not easy for a team going out from east to west, but when you know that if you score a touchdown, the crowd's going to erupt, that's a nice little extra boost.
Listen, there's certainly not going to be. It's going to be Herbert that's going to be going like this, trying to quiet the crowd before, and it won't work. That's the other thing. So we're going to start off with Pittsburgh in the Sunday nighter. Next up, I know last week was not a good week for the Detroit Lions. They lost at home to the Minnesota Vikings. A winnable game, a really close game. I thought a huge play for the Vikes to get back in it, make up for a couple of those losses they had when JJ McCarthy was out and the Wentz wagon was in charge. Minnesota's got their hands full with Baltimore. We can get into that game in a minute. But I think this is going to be a return to normalcy for the Detroit Lions, and that is going to mean a horrible day at home for the Washington Commanders, coming off getting embarrassed by the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football and now having to do it without the franchise Jaden Daniels. Like, we can talk about Dan Quinn and the decision to keep Daniels in a football game that they were down by 30 points in the second half of the fourth quarter. It blew up in his face, and it basically has cost them their season. The one thing I'll say about Washington, and again, I'm taking Detroit, and I'm laying the points. I think they get back to normalcy, and I think they put up a big, big number. I do think Marcus Mariota, as far as backup quarterback goes, is one of the better ones and the more serviceable ones in the league. Like, they're not going to go and look like the Raiders or the Broncos last night because Mariota's in there. I just don't think that they're going to have anywhere close to the firepower that Detroit's throwing at them. And I think Dan Campbell's team is going to be in an ornery mood. And I think the Commanders are in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, I'll add on that. So the last weekend was their third loss of the season. After their prior two losses, losing to the Packers, the next week against the Bears was 52-21. And then just a couple weeks ago, they lost to the Chiefs. The following week against the Bucs, 24-9. So big spreads there in victories, big spreads when it comes to those victories. So they are a team that they get angry. They come out the next week and they do respond, and they respond in a way that you want to see if you're a Detroit Lions fan, where they're not just barely squeaking by. They send a message. No, that was just a bad week last weekend. So even though it's a big number at 8, so far this season, what it shows is that they are a team that will do that after a loss.
I think double digits, easy peasy for the Lions. I think they smash the Commanders in this game. Here's an ugly one for you with my next pick.
Where are we going?
We are going to take a backup quarterback and a home dog, the Houston Texans +1 at home to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is kind of a fate of Jacksonville. Like, we were talking about some fraudulent teams that have better records. The Jags don't quite have that record, but I still think that they're not very good. I mean, we watched that pillow fight last week with the Raiders out in Vegas that ended up going to OT. And then, they come back, get the touchdown, and Geno Smith, just has one of the worst attempts with the game on the line on a 2-point convert to win the game. Listen, Davis Mills is serviceable. He didn't throw any picks. He had about 137 yards receiving. Nico Collins always goes off against the Jags. That's the other thing. But to me, you've got two very mid teams. The Houston defense is clearly the best unit of the 4 that we're going to be seeing in this game. And I think that gives Houston, I don't think Davis Mills is going to have to do a bunch of special things in this game. I think they're just going to need to not make the big mistake. Let the defense control field position, give them chances. Like, I was joking about the old Color Rush Thursday night games of back in the day. This is
one of those.
9-6, maybe something like that. I'm fading the Jags right now. I think this is a tough place for them to go in, expected to win against an elite Houston defense. Give me the Texans +1 in this AFC South battle.
And this is a tied for the lowest over-under of the weekend, 37.5. Browns Jets also 37.5, and just 1 point better is the Saints and the Panthers at 38.5. So just 3. I'm stunned. None of those are prime time. I'm stunned. None of those have been bumped. I'm shocked. Fox. Yeah, I'm shocked.
Flex, Steelers, Chargers. You're out. We're going Jags, Texans.
Shocked we haven't gone that one yet.
So those are 3. And then, I had a tough time of, figuring out these final couple of picks. But I am going to. We just talked about the Seattle Seahawks, and I know Arizona's coming off that nice win, and the broke the streak, and now Kyler Murray is being put on IR. Jacoby Brissett is going to get the start again. And listen, that's great, but let's think about who we're talking about here. This is an Arizona team that sits at 3-5. They won their first 2 games of the year against the Panthers and the Saints, and then managed to lose to a decimated Niner team, this Seahawks team at home. The 1 win Tennessee Titans, that 1 win was against the Cardinals. And of course, the Colts and the Packers. Now, listen, they did kind of stay in these games but coming off that win against the Cowboys, where the Cowboys defense was just absolutely atrocious, I do think they'll be in. But man, where Seattle's at right now with their offense, the addition of Rashid Shaheed, how good their defense is, and I think that's going to be a real problem for Arizona. I didn't love it. I would have loved if this was another point or so, but I will lay this. I'm seeing 6.5. Is that what you have?
7. Dead on 7.
Ooh, what's 6.5 on that? Is it under -120?
6.5 -116.
-116. Okay, it's under the 120. So yeah,
So
I'm laying
-6.5.
-116 on Seattle at -6.5. So those are my 4 favorites. I had considered the Vikings at +4 against the Ravens, but I think it's a stay away for me. I do think that there is a good chance that Lamar and Derrick Henry really get going. Although I do think this is going to be a good day for Justin Jefferson. I was looking earlier at some player props, and he's in plus money. I think I got it at +111 for over 6.5. I mean, Matt, you'll know the one thing the Ravens do a lot of, as much as maybe any team in the league, is play man defense. And JJ McCarthy, when plays broke down, wasn't particularly good, wasn't particularly accurate. But when following the script that Kevin O'Connell's been saying, he's actually been really good. And I think that script is going to be getting it early and often to Justin Jefferson in this game. So,
Ravens' 5th worst pass defense. So it's prime for Jefferson to kind of go off on this Ravens defense.
And like, even with the guys that have come back, the corner position had been the Achilles heel of the team going right back to week 1 or week 2 of the season. Yep. So like, it's one thing to get your guys back when you were starting where they were at corner. I think this is a day that Justin Jefferson can eat. So we'll lean on that. Okay, we got to figure out this final pick. We could go with the Rams, although 4.5. Kyle Shanahan has just found ways to keep his team in. I mean, their top 3 defensive players are out. Bosa, Bobby Wagner's out right now. And the Rams keep on rolling, but man, I don't trust the Rams to cover that number. I mean, Shanahan's been somewhat of a wizard in this case, and this divisional game's really, really tough to play. Other options. The thought of actually laying points with the Cleveland Browns on the road is somewhat laughable, but you got to think about it potentially against the Jets that just basically took a pretty good defense and said, Sauce, see you later. Quinnen Williams, see you later. Love Sean Junkins to have a big game, although his rushing total is huge. I'm going to jump on him to get a touchdown for it. The Bills, 9.5 in Miami. I mean, a divisional game. Sometimes those games, you'd think on paper, oh yeah, they're going to kill them. Miami, I could see it. We're not taking the Colts. Saints and Panthers is another game that full disclosure, I have Carolina in my survivor pool this week. The only real teams, the good teams that I have are kind of playing each other, New England and Tampa. So I'm staying away from that one.
I love the fact, though, that if the Panthers win and the New England Patriots find a way to beat the Bucs, Panthers are 6-4, Bucs are 6-3.
Hey, tell me, and to everybody in the chat, tell me you've seen the video of that guy Carolina Mike with his hit single, If I Had $150,000.
I have not seen this.
So this is a guy, a Carolina transplant, lives in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. And I don't know, this came across my feed last week in and around the game. He's like, hey, Carolina Panther fans, are you ready to keep pounding? Let's, he does a little hype thing for the Panthers and then goes into a song that has absolutely nothing to do with the Panthers. But they got that big win last week against the Packers, and it's kind of gone on fire a little bit. The Panthers themselves have tweeted it out and put it on their Instagram and whatnot. So I encourage all of you, check out Carolina Mike. That's MIC, his hit, If I Had $150,000. And maybe that's what I'll roll with. I mean, Do you have a feeling on this? I mean, convince me one way or the other on the Patriots-Bucks game if you have a lean.
Patriots, Bucks, I can't convince you on either way. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I guess, like, the reason... So, I'm just trying to see, is there any common opponents here? Bucks beat the Falcons 23-20 to start the season. Patriots beat the Falcons by 1 point. So they're relatively there. Again, it's one of those games, I don't know who the Patriots are yet, and this is that game that's going to help me decide who they are. So
yeah,
I'm like, to me, completely this is a stay away because I could see the Bucks winning by 10. I could see them winning by 7 type thing if the Patriots just aren't who maybe their record says they are. But I also could then see that Drake May is number 2 when it comes to MVP, that Mike Vrabel is just an outstanding football coach, that this team is on that rise, and they're going to make a statement down in Tampa to go, yeah, when we beat the Bills, that's who we are. That's the type of team this New England Patriots team is. So I couldn't convince you either way of that one.
I'm going to settle. You know what? I'm going to have faith in the Panthers in this week. As I say, they're my survivor pick. I don't love laying the 5 points, and it's such a weird number. Like, it's just that dead zone in between 4 and 6. Not even 4.5 or 5.5. It's just 5, and it's just been sitting there. But Taylor Shuck, I mean, you got a guy in his second or third. And listen, think of what the Panthers, defense did last week in Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. They're going to get back home. They got some momentum, hoping for a nice game from Bryce Young.
And I think that's the big thing there is they're coming home. The Saints are not a good football team. We know that.
No.
Panthers are coming off a big win. Maybe sometimes there's that letdown from there, but they're home. If they were going to the Superdome, I'd be more inclined to think, could there be a letdown where they win by 3? Or we're a 2-point game, something a lot closer. But with them going home and the confidence off of last week, I don't think that is a crazy pick at all. So what I have for you, if you Steelers +3, Lions -8, Texans +1, Seahawks -6.5, Panthers -5. Is that right?
Say it again.
Pittsburgh +3, Lions -8, Texans +1, Seahawks -6.5, Panthers -5. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay, I'll send those to Dusty. He has sent me his picks.
Yes, he just fired me these as well. Let's go through these. You can run them off.
Yeah.
You run them off, and I will record them.
Bills -9.5. He's taking them over the Dolphins. The Dolphins were, I think it was 11.5 or 12-point spread Thursday Night Football a few weeks ago against these two teams.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins, they lost by 10. So they covered that spread, but a 10-point cover would not do it this week. And so he's got the Bills. He's opposite of you with the Texans game. He's on the Jaguars -1.
He's been a Jags apologist for a long time.
He's got the Trevor Lawrence cards. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all that. So he's trying to manifest this. She's trying to manifest this game. He's on the Jags. All right.
The one game you guys share, and actually, there's something else here that might help you when it comes to if we're going to combine like a 3-game parlay here.
Sure.
But he is on the Steelers, +3 out in LA, taking on the Chargers. He's taking the New England Patriots. He's going with the Pats +3 against the Bucks. So, in your decision there, he's going with the Patriots. And then he's jumped to what I believe is the Monday Nighter, which is the Eagles and Packers. Yeah. He's on the Eagles +2.5 out at Lambeau to force the Packers into back-to-back losses at home, if you will. Dusty's Bills, Jags, Steelers, Pats, Eagles. So I think if we're building a parlay here, easily the Steelers are in it.
And we're going to need to take that to
2.5.
So, I was going to say almost 3.5.
You want to take it to 3.5? Okay.
I mean, it'll be around even money, but I mean, the way I look at it when we're doing these off of whole numbers for the parlays, it's going to hit the number a little bit, but with the boost, it almost makes up for it. And I mean, that half point in a game that I think a lot of people think will be close, certainly the bookmakers do, I think will do us well in the long run. So
3.5 is -125, 2.5 is +103.
Okay, excellent.
So I've got 3.5.
So Pittsburgh will definitely throw in there.
Do you want to go Patriots?
Listen, if we get the Patriots to 3.5, I can handle that. Because I mean, it's 3 right now. It's basically the same thing that we'll be doing with Pittsburgh, taking New England to plus 3.5.
So right now, Steelers, Patriots, both at plus 3.5. That's plus 213 before a boost and before we add a third game in here.
Exactly. So I mean, we'll try and get this into around 4-1 with the next one. I'll tell you what, the Lions are his team. I know they're not on that list of his 5 picks.
But he wouldn't ever be opposed to putting the Lions in something.
No, exactly. Like that's going to be one. Obviously, we're on the opposite sides of the Jacksonville, Houston. The Seattle was tough. Carolina was just, I had to make a 5th pick. I don't feel great about it. So yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we take the Lions? And I mean, now, Maddie, the Lions it's 8 right there.
Yeah, so I've just put in a parlay, like so Steelers plus 3.5, Pats plus 3.5, and I'm throwing the Lions in here. So the Lions at minus 7.5 before any boosting is plus 495. If we take them to 8.5, it's plus 523. I think he just goes 7.5.
Yeah.
Leave it at 495. We're gonna get boosted into the 5s, and that's the parlay.
Sure. Let's do it. I love that. So the Lions plus or minus 7.5. And then 3.5 with Pittsburgh and New England.
Yeah.
I do like that. Like, I think if Tampa wins that game, it's going to be tight.
Absolutely.
Like, I have a real hard time going on either side of it. But if you're telling me we can get the hook, absolutely, I'll take New England. Because I think they're going to be able to hang around on that. And yeah, if you're telling me that's plus 495 before a boost, get it to plus 525 or 50, whatever they can do, more than 5-1 on those 3. Really, really feel good about those for the weekend.
I just quickly CFL before I want to get your thoughts on the Jets game tonight. James Butler game time decision for the BC Lions for tomorrow.
That's not good.
That's where I am.
That's not good. Has that moved the line at all? What's the late? What are you seeing the latest lines for the games?
Still both -3. Al's -3. Riders -3. No matter what, though, at the very least, James Butler's clearly dealing with something that he has to be a game time decision. Is he's going to be ready to be able to be impactful in a game that's, while it's not going to be snowing, it's going to be cold out there. It's going to be a cool game, and he's questionable for the game. He's a game time decision tomorrow with an ankle injury.
Listen, we're going to find out just how incredible Nathan Rourke is. If the Lions win this game, it is going to be because Nathan Rourke simply goes out and is the best player on the field and does some special things that I think the Rider defense is really good. I think they're ready to go. I know that the Rider offense is going to be able to generate, and they're going to be able to run the football too. They got a great O-line. I mean, Ouellette sort of is built for these sort of games. And if James Butler is limited or not playing, it just puts that much more on the shoulder and the arm and the legs of Nathan Rourke. I mean, the one thing that Rourke can do as well as anyone is, make plays out of, plays that would normally be, losses. He turns those into 12-yard runs, 20-yard runs. I mean, we've seen some big ones. I still like Saskatchewan in this game, and I would take them. I mean, as I told you before, I'm just going on the money line for these two games. I think the potential of them being both close is significant. But if I had to lean on one favorite or the other to cover, I think I do lean on Saskatchewan. But if that doesn't come through, it'll be because Nathan Rourke has an absolutely incredible game.
Jets have been out in California. They lose to the Kings on Tuesday, go to San Jose tonight. Then they're in Anaheim on Sunday. It's weird. Usually you see Kings, Ducks back-to-back, then Sharks or vice versa or whatever. Yeah. But a little bit of time off in the nice weather down in SoCal. -1.5 on the puck line for tonight in this game. Need a big bounce back from being shut out against the Kings. And the Sharks, they had that big win against the Kraken, 6-1. And so how you feeling about the Jets weekend coming up?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'm really excited. I haven't said that for a long time when the Jets are in California. Oh, I can't wait to see the Sharks and the Ducks games.
That's a great point.
But that's the case this year. Like I was talking earlier when I was doing something for a WST today with Rewicki. Like I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two, Matt, the great Western Conference rivalry is between Anaheim and San Jose. I mean, with all the young talent that those teams have and what we've seen so far, it seems like the Ducks are maybe in another weight class right now, at least early on in the season. They just put 7 past Dallas last night in Dallas for another win. So I cannot wait for that game tonight. But the Jets are going to need to be ready. I do think the fact, listen, they played hard and they actually played really well. That was a real tight game against LA. They had a goal disallowed that I think was pretty critical. I mean, if they'd been playing with the lead, the Kings are a very different team coming from behind than being able to just throw the 4 guys up and, clog up the neutral zone. They got to figure this out tonight, though, against San Jose. These are 2 really important points for the Winnipeg Jets. I'm just looking at player points for this game. This tonight feels like a game that Connor and Scheifele kind of really eat. I think I might, instead of going with the puck line, because I could see the Sharks. I mean, they've been scoring tons of goals as well. I might put something together with the Jets to win and Connor and Scheifele both to get a couple points. But hopefully they can just get this win. And then for me, I mean, like, obviously the Chiefs are off this week. We'll be diving headfirst into all the football on Sunday. But we got our own little Sunday nighter with that Jets Ducks, and the Ducks have been red hot, coming back home. I do wonder, does Anaheim play tomorrow beforehand? Will that be a back-to-back for the Ducks? Would be nice if that was the case. Yes, Saturday night they are in Vegas against the Golden Knights. So maybe a nice little bit of scheduling for Winnipeg, but a huge slate of games tomorrow. And we finally get the Oilers back. I was just mentioning, it's so weird, a Tuesday game and then 3 days off. You do not see that very often in this compacted NHL schedule with the Olympics.
Oilers Avs tomorrow. It'll be a big one down at Rogers Place. Sounds like Zach Hyman might be coming close to being ready to go for that game. Oil Stream coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk, where all the latest news on that game is going to be coming up. But yeah, big game tomorrow between the Oilers and the Avs here in Edmonton. Haas, what's coming up on WST?
Oh, the usual Friday hijinks. Murat Atesh is going to join us from the Shark Tank in San Jose as we get ready. It'll be just past the morning skate with the time difference. Murat's going to join. Jeff Hamilton as well. We'll talk about kind of some of the big news this week, especially from the East. Ottawa, Dinwiddie going to the Red Blacks, what that means. A little bit more on the Bomber upcoming off season. Brandon Rewicki from Skates and Plates will pop by. Talk a little more NHL. We'll do the NFL Notebook with Hacksaw. And, of course, we'll fire up the marbles around 1:45 Edmonton time. Couple close calls for ESTers as of late. We're still waiting for the first Edmonton winner. Could this be the day? Pop by around 2 p.m. your time to find out. And you know how it works. ! Marbles in the chat. Iwanek, when are you out here next week?
I fly in late Thursday, so I'll be out late Thursday night, but I'm in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So excellent.
It's
going to be a fun time.
We'll make a point of connecting in the meantime.
Absolutely. Haas, have a great show coming up and enjoy this sports weekend.
Nasties, have a great weekend. Let's get some winners.
Haas Remus, they're coming up. Winnipeg Sports Talk. Go check them out on YouTube. Wonderful work out there. Coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk, it is the Oil Stream. We've got EST Afternoons, the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne until 6 o'clock. On our audio streams, we've got Elks Call later tonight at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, Hello Hockey. We've got Pipeline Show on our audio streams. We also got the GCLD's Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows. Oilers, Avs. Tomorrow, I will get that Steelers, Pats, Lions parlay up at Play Alberta in EST Specials. Our Lock Shop parlay still up from yesterday when it comes to the Canadian Football League. We have Als to win over 46.5 points in that game. Riders to win over 59.5 points in that game, plus 410. On behalf of us, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta right here at Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. Oil Stream coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.